What's up, guys? It is buckwheat day. It's early mid-June. I think it's June 9th or so, and we had a little rain over the past weekend, and there's another small bit of rain, decent rain I think coming this afternoon, maybe like a quarter inch or so. Anyway, so wanted to get out here. It's about 7 in the morning, getting out here pretty early to get this buckwheat down. Got some other work to do later, so wanted to take advantage. I think the farmer possibly got out here to plant that front screen of corn, but we'll check that out and see how it looks. Looks like all the other surrounding fields have been planted, and it's an exciting time of year. Things are growing good and starting to take shape, so we'll get out there, get our buckwheat, and go over a few things. This is what we had just mowed last time. It's not the best, but definitely more grass coming in, and hopefully some of the newer grass as well. Our rye dying. We had quite a few deer on camera this morning, which is cool. We'll definitely be switching some batteries out and getting those good to go as well. All right, guys, we made it out. Ran into a turkey as well. So we got our buckwheat half that we're gonna be doing. Rye's dead. I'll probably mow that this weekend when I have a little bit more time. Some clovers are still sticking through, which is great. So hopefully over time that's gonna really start to take off and flourish. Got the hidden gilly blind in this finger of woods here between fields. We're gonna start unraveling the bags of buckwheat, 50 pounds per acre, just so you guys remember. Typically 3.5, 4 setting on the Earthway bag spreader should be perfectly fine. If you're totally doing this for the first time, or maybe you got a new spreader, the settings are different, go ahead and do a little test area. Try and figure out an 1/8 or 1/4 of an acre, divvy that up. What is that, 12.5 pounds if you were to do that? Make sure you get pretty good coverage onto that before you go and do the rest, especially if you're gonna be doing a few acres plus. If you can, cultipack it after this. If you have the tools, push those seeds into the ground. Wait till you have a good rain coming. Like I said, this afternoon, literally we're supposed to have a decent rain, so that'll be perfect. I'm excited. It's just a few days early than in a perfect situation. However, if you remember last year, I did this before Labor Day, quite early. Had to terminate the buckwheat. It was very spotty, hoping things continue to improve year after year as we amend the soil and keep doing this crop rotation. But yeah, so no, we're quite a bit later than we did last year, like a week or two at least. So that's good. More on the plan and the schedule that I wanted to follow. And then that'll give us 7-8 weeks time to let this buckwheat grow. Never usually germinates super quick anyway. We'll come back in the beginning of August and we'll put our fall food in. So just putting the buckwheat down, we are going to cultipack it in, and I'll probably hit it over the top with one spraying of glyphosate. Same thing, guys, 2 quarts per acre. I'm just going to be doing this buckwheat half, so I should be at 2.5, 3 acres for this side of the plot. So I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go ahead and get going on that, get this done today, and move on to the next stuff on the list. Next stuff on the list. I can't help it, I just love it when all this stuff's coming up and like you can see other animals, you know, 100, 150 yards away, and that barrier is just becoming alive. That hunting kind of mindset kicks in. I don't know if you can see this turkey. Shorter field where the cover is not quite as thick, it's a little more sandy. Likes the openness to keep an eye out for predators, which we still need to work on a little bit. Anyway, moving along with the buckwheat. You guys can see this general area that we had trouble with last year. Remember, this year we've sprayed it twice now, if you've been following along. So it's got a pretty good kill, and that second spraying was barely 2 weeks ago, maybe just under. So technically you need to be really careful of the 2,4-D residual that I've mentioned many, many times so far this year. When we spray the buckwheat today on the ground, it's just going to be 2 quarts per acre of Gly, no 2,4-D, no 2,4-D. So just to clarify, it looks like we have a much better kill this year. Obviously I didn't really see a lot of that until after the buckwheat was growing, and hopefully you know, things will pan out a little bit better now that we've taken a little bit of extra time and spent that time on the glyphosate resistant weeds. The only thing that's still a little bit green here is some of this clover. I don't even know how it got here, to be honest. I planted clover around the other edge, and not here, so I'm not quite sure what happened, but I've sprayed twice. It still looks like a couple of them are still living, but you know, if that's the worst thing that's growing in this plot, then I'd say we're doing a dang good job. So we will live with that. Finish this last 1.5 bags of buckwheat, hook up the sprayer, and keep sweating our butts off. Turkey's eating my dang seeds. All right, guys, about 3 hours, we cultipacked, we spread all the buckwheat. Still got to spray real quick. You definitely do get quicker, you know, the more you do these things. So, you know, just kind of be patient with it, especially if you're more new to this and getting your rhythm. But every year you typically pick up something new. So I'm gonna throw the sprayer on, but I'm gonna let you guys go, wrap up. I got to get back next weekend. We're in Wisconsin visiting clients for a week, and then we'll be back. So another reason why I'm knocking this out. But I'm gonna try and come back one more time, maybe later in the weekend, try and possibly take a coyote, do any other kind of miscellaneous stuff that needs to be done, clear a couple trees, not for bedding areas, but just for our campsite here, and maybe some path spraying, things like that. Just stuff that is often hard to set aside time for, but we'll get it knocked out. If you guys got any questions, leave them in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.